I would like to introduce the moderator, Dr. Bhavna Barmi. She's a well-known child and clinical psychologist with a PhD in psychology on the topic stress management with executives from NIMHANS, Bangalore. So she's our own, though she hails from Delhi. She heads the stress clinics with Fortis Group of Hospital across the country and has been leading lifestyle management and wellness programs for over 20 years. She's the director of PsyCare, a care and cure rehab center for mental health concerns in New Delhi. She has expertise in dealing with concerns of individuals, married couples, and students by using highly effective techniques of NLP and CBT. Solution-focused techniques in getting to the root of each problem and helps people get back on the right track to move forward in their lives. She is a frequent guest expert on the electronic and print media. And most recently, in December 2015, she has been honored with the Gold Medal Award for Excellence in Field of Psychology from the Indian Medical Association.
A very good afternoon to all of you here. I want to start by saying that it's truly a pleasure and a very, very big honor for me to be here and to have been invited to be a part of this experience, which is a magical canvas of energy medicine. Over these last 2.5 days, I've learned so much about energy medicine and information medicine that personally working in a tertiary care setup hospital, which is conventional and allopathic in nature and leads our country called the Fortis hospitals, I would personally like to start a petition for the use of energy medicine to care and cure for all kinds of illness and disease, kindly with all the consent and support of our esteemed panelists and audience here. I'd also like to summarize for some of our audience who've joined us today, the 6 basic strengths of energy medicine that I'll share with all of you in brief, following which it will also enable us to go forward in this panel discussion, and then I will open the forum to the most esteemed panelists here. So with this, I start with the first strength of energy medicine, which is that it has a great, great reach. It is able to impact the full spectrum of physical conditions, and it supports the body structure and the body functions. And remarkably, it also influences the gene expression, as we've learned in these 2 days. Second, energy medicine is extremely efficient, and it regulates the biological processes with precision, speed, and flexibility. The techniques address systemic as well as specific disease factors. They send signals that are hundreds of times faster than chemical signals and provide instant feedback to the practitioner, so interventions can be adjusted for intended outcomes. And I think Dr. Arina with her scanner just demonstrated some to us before lunch. The third strength, energy medicine fosters healing and prevents illness with methods that can be readily, economically, and most importantly, non-invasively applied. It leads us to patient empowerment because it includes methods that can be used on and at home, self-help basis, fostering a stronger patient and practitioner partnership in this healing process. Fifth strength, it has quantum compatibility. It adopts a non-linear concept consistent with distant healing, the healing impact of meditation, and the role of intention in healing, as was so beautifully exemplified by our living legend, Patriji, in the morning today. Finally, it has a holistic orientation. It strengthens the integration of body, mind, and spirit, leading not only to the focus on healing, but to achieving greater well-being, peace, and the passion of life. As Dr. Paul mentioned to us, our focus is not ill health, but focus is on health. With that, I open the forum of the panel today with a big round of applause to our esteemed panelists. Let me start by a reintroduction of each of our panelists in 2 lines, though 2 lines is extremely non-sufficient to introduce any one of them here with us. Let me start with whom we all recognize as the quantum physicist, Dr. Amit Goswami, who we all call as the quantum activist, who actually needs no introduction. He's the pioneer of the new paradigm of science called the science with consciousness, where he demonstrated how science and spirituality could be integrated. A round of applause for Sir, please. Dr. Uma Krishnamurthy is a psychiatrist by training and has created a legacy on yoga psychology and transformation of emotions with classical Indian dance, bringing clarity and peace of mind. She travels all over the world conducting her workshops and has received much acclaim. And we all have been very fortunate to experience a small part of her interaction and workshop with us on the first day at the amphitheater. Thank you, ma'am, for being with us. We have Dr. Irina. She is a doctor, scientist, teacher, writer, psychologist, and an entrepreneur. She is an eye specialist from Russia with an expertise in cosmetic and is informally called the First Lady of Skenar. Thank you, ma'am. Dr. Patrick Porter, a gadget man. The inventor of the Porter Vision, where Dr. Patrick emphasizes the importance of light and sound in healing. An award-winning author, consultant, and successful entrepreneur who has devoted his professional career to developing successful methods that empower people. Dr. Patrick. Jane Thurnell Reed, world-famous kineologist, dealing with expertise on geopathic stress and self-help techniques, which were also so efficiently demonstrated today morning to teach us how to get what we want. Thank you, ma'am. Don Paris, the radionics man, and the one who took over and modernized the SE5 Plus into the SE5000, which is said to be the most advanced technology in the world. The man who bridges and connects science with miracles. And we have Dr. Paul, who we have all been introduced to just before lunch, who's brought to us the greatest depth and understanding to creative integrative medicine, and is the founder of the Quantum University with a mission to change the healthcare system, not only in Honolulu, in Hawaii, but also now at the Pyramid Valley in Bangalore. Our extremely big round of applause for Dr. Paul. And I think the applause continues for all our fantastic, esteemed, most prestigious panelists sitting with us. So with this clarity of energy medicine and all its strengths, I'd like to begin with asking each and any of my panelists the first question which a lot of us were having in our minds, that how can we now take energy medicine forward generically, and what can each one of us as an esteemed entity in energy medicine do to promote it? Dr. Amit points to Dr. Paul, so we start with Dr. Paul, and Dr. Porter has both his...
Can you pronounce my family name?
Your family name?
Yeah, Dr. Paul who?
Druin.
Druin. It's pretty good.
Now I can pronounce that, and now you can give us a vivid answer.
No, but Dr. Paul is okay. Can you repeat the question in French?
Of course. Like we had the rap in Sanskrit last night.
Okay. I will try to answer my best if, you know. Of course, I will answer from my angle. For me, energetic medicine, modality of energetic medicine, you know, has to be used on the ground of the most knowledge possible. It's not, there is so many possibilities in the field. When you start to open your mind to quantum medicine and quantum energy, then it's like you open the door to many possibility of healing. And if when we will, you will, I'm sure you were looking around here, there's many technique and products and of course, you know, they are very beneficial. My mission is to prepare doctors and practitioners to be able to select, you know, what is the best for the client. So respecting the principle of kind of a lease is the best, and it's not all the time easy, because there is so many, the complexity sometimes of the health problem may require different type of approach. So part of the training is to train the doctor of the future, or the quantum doctor, to be able to evaluate and have a portrait of you know, the individual and what's going on, and then apply among all these possibilities of healing what is the best for the client. At the end of the day, what makes the difference between quantum medicine and Western medicine, it's a multidimensional approach where we have some time to address different layer of information. Could be physical. Let's say you have a cancer. The problem could be physical, but it can be also spiritual, can be emotional. So there is a scrutinize, you know, if conflict are part of the problem, if toxicity is part of the problem, if nutrition and so on. So the work of the quantum doctor in some way is more complex than the regular doctor, which most of the time diagnose and has a simple protocol, you know, pharmaceutic or surgery. So in some way, the quantum doctor require more training, deeper understanding, capacity to adapt the treatment in the multidimensional. And before I end my answer, someone came to me before the conference, and then she said, "Can you do something for this lady?" It's not all the time just one bullet, one answer. You know, we have to see that person and be able to, again, evaluate, you know, what will be the best intervention for that person.
Thank you, Dr. Paul. And I think very importantly, he mentioned that it is two very important things to take this forward. One, to get more and more gadgets and techniques which support us scientifically. And secondly, to train. And two forms of training were mentioned here. One form was to be able to train the people who want to be energy medicine specialists. And another thing was to train the medical practitioners. And as we take this discussion forward, do we feel it is easy to get medical practitioners taking further training into energy medicine, or there are blocks in the mind which still need to be unhurled? And Dr. Arena can start as well.
Yeah, actually, I want to get a little bit back to the question that was Dr. Paul just answered. We approach it from the position that you have to start teaching energy medicine at the earliest possible age. Because when we grow up, our mind is already shaped in a way that biomedicine is God, and we have to succumb to that. So I think the children learn that energy medicine is something that they can do, and something that makes them well, the better, because they will go with that knowledge later in life, and nothing will turn them off that path. So what we try to do in our home healers community, of course, we promote home healing with our energy healing devices, but we very much encourage parents to educate their children and give them the tools to play with. In the beginning, they just play with them, but then they have a drawer in a kitchen where, you know, this machine is, and when something happens, like 5-year-olds, when they slam their fingers in a door, that's where they first run, and we have that all the time. So children don't know what's wrong, what's right. They just do what's good for them. And that's what I think we need to teach them. The earlier the better. That's like at least our approach is.
So I think very valuable additional information. Anybody else would like to comment on the first topic of what we can do?
I'll just add something very quickly. One thing I think is when you everyone personally takes what you're learning here and starts to apply it, what's happened for us and with the doctors that I work with, which is about 1,000, so it's a pretty good cross-section in America, when their people come to them and they're getting well and they're going, how are you doing this? You become the example. That's going to change people because they're so used to seeing sickness. But once you get well, be brave enough to tell your doctors about it and how you're doing it. And that's going to change because it's got to be at grassroots. And the other thing is, how can we spread this message? Look at this. This is a great group. For a first conference, I'm amazed. This is awesome. But every one of you know 7 people that could be here, at least. We could fill this place. That's how we're going to change this. It's got to be one by one. You've got to be willing to live it, breathe it, talk about it at dinner, eat breakfast with it. You know, live it. Don't just say, oh, well, it's convenient to come to the pyramid and then go home and pretend you're not in the pyramid anymore. You've got to take the pyramid home and spread this message and this quantum message. Okay?
That's exactly right. Each one of us is a radio station, and we can broadcast not only with our words, but our actions and our aura. Our aura is going to be brighter than other people's aura because you apply these principles and you'll start to shine, and people will see that. So I would say the fundamental thing in perpetuating this work is to change our self-concept. Each individual carries a self-concept that is different from each other person. But I would like you to try on a new self-concept, and that is of a quantum researcher. When you research this field, you'll find out for yourself what quantum is and how you can apply it. There's nobody that can really teach you this. And this goes back to, even though we can't say someone can teach it, but to Sri Patriji's teachings, if you learn to meditate and apply that, that's where you're going to learn